Motherhood Challenging yet Rewarding. And we are super excited to welcome Alice. Hi, Alice.
Guys, I'm super
How are
excited.
you?
Good, good, good.
So we're going to continue. We've been talking a lot of, doing, obviously, we are trying to find things to kind of keep us busy, And tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to continue talking about doing things outdoors because the weather in Pittsburgh is finally starting to turn,
Yep,
hopefully
yep.
no more snow in May. I mean, that was insane.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Make a moment of that,
Yes.
for sure. But yeah, that was crazy. But hopefully we get some nice sunshine days and get some, you know, the beauty of Pittsburgh, and I know that this kind of hits worldwide, but you have a lot of followers here in Pittsburgh,
Mhm.
is that you know, I like it all year. Rain is tough and cold sometimes can be tough. And as you know, we have managed properties in that Laurel Highlands area. So we have the opportunity to go up into the Laurel Highlands that is just
Mhm.
really some majestic places, with some incredible waterfalls and places to hike.
Love it.
And you can modify things really for all ages of
Yeah.
kids. And just get out there and um, and we're in a yellow phase that you can still get out there with your families and, be outside and get in touch with nature. And we talked right before we went live about getting outside and doing some things
Yes.
now that it's nice outside. And one of my favorite stops is the dollar store. So you can kind of find these little finds that you can get for $20 and have kind of a weekend worth of fun things to do outside.
Mhm.
And then every city has their own fun things that they can do. And we were getting a little stir crazy, and the best kind of lighting of the day, and for me, is right before sunset.
Oh, yeah.
So you can find out, what time sunset is, and go find that spot in the city that you're in. It's kind of a really fun thing to do, and bring a couple snacks in your pocket and sit down and watch the sunset, and all kinds of conversations with kids come out.
Yes.
And which is good. It's starting points of conversations that you
So
don't have to go
important.
that far from
Yeah.
home. So we took a trip to Mount Washington because that was recommended when I looked, and we went there and it was great. But we're gonna go do it again, do a
Yeah.
review because moms we can learn. I think we're gonna go over to the North Shore. I think we'll have probably a better view of the sunset. We had great colors and reflection of the city, so we ended up having a whole conversation of having the sun come down and then reflecting on the buildings
Oh,
on
I
the
love it.
point. So even though in my mind as a mom of 7, that
Yes.
sometimes things don't go
Because this
exactly.
year, I didn't even introduce you properly, okay? I didn't. Because my dear friend here, Alice, is the jack of all trades and holds such a special place in my heart. Mom of 7 and grandma to how many?
3.
3. Can you even believe that? When I met Alice, she was on stage being introduced at a magazine premiere. And I was like, she just said she's a grandma? Like, and a yoga teacher? Like, all right. Hashtag mom goals here. Like, and the best thing is, like, you are so down to earth and you are so loving to just absolutely everyone. And I just love that so much about you because you you just that it just shines through. And like
Oh,
you do so many amazing things. And
oh, thank you.
yeah, it's so amazing, and I'm so honored to have you here tonight because you have so many great ideas and you have so many experiences as well. So it's such a blessing. So thank you so much for that.
Oh my
And
gosh, of course. I said
yes.
before we came on, we were talking. So, and the day job is twofold: helping my husband run his company and get beautiful vacation experiences, and really love that outdoor space in the Laurel Highlands, like I said, all year long, whether you're looking for leaves that are falling and going on hikes through the snow. to whitewater rafting when your kids get older, and really, and I hope that's going to open up soon because you can whitewater raft at 5 years old. So some of the
Wow.
easier ones, as long as you have a guide, you can do that. So there's
It's
all
fun.
different
I've
kinds of
definitely
stuff.
done it. There's been a couple summers. I mean, not recently because I've
Yeah.
had the kids,
Mhm. Mhm.
but before the kids, I mean, we went a lot and it's so
Yeah.
much fun.
There's so many fun things to do. Some things can cost a lot of money, and like I said, with seven, try to be as thrifty as possible. So I think that's why the dollar store. And before we went on, I said like I get my little sidewalk chalk at the
Yeah.
dollar store, but you can buy flashlights and hula hoops, all different kinds of things to create your own experiences
Mhm. And give
outside.
kids flashlights, they love it. I
Oh, give a
mean,
kid a flashlight out, and it's, spotting things and doing
yeah,
all those kind of things.
even
Anywhere
inside.
anywhere you go, right?
Yeah.
So it could be right outside in your neighborhood, or it can be on, on a trip to the city or a local park. You
Mhm.
can have a lot of fun with flashlights.
They did
So
that. Like my kiddos, they're Ella and Alex are 5 and 3, and they were like playing flashlight tag, and it was not even planned. Like they were
yeah,
like acting like a cat, like trying to
yeah,
catch the flashlight, and I was like,
yeah.
"This is great."
I know. And you can find flashlights, really kind of nice ones too, just at the dollar store, and kind of keep that bag of outdoor supplies.
Mhm.
The other thing is chalk. So you can that's been a big thing with people being in and leaving messages for your neighbors and those
Mhm.
kind of things. So sometimes um, we take walks, throughout the neighborhood, and people leave their obstacle courses
Yes,
out in front of their house.
we've
So
done that.
being so creative with an obstacle course
Mhm.
is a way to fit some fitness in there. And I think parents who have good role models of being fit and fun outside and give good inspiration to their kids, whether they realize it or not. Because my oldest kids are um, 31 and 29. I can't believe I'm saying that. 27 and 25. My oldest four daughters, and it's great because like we like to go and exercise together. So taking
And you have
a
the
Zumba
cutest little
class.
group. I mean, it is the cutest thing ever. I love seeing them.
Oh, it is fun. It is fun that, we like to be active together, and we vacation together when we can. So
Mhm.
it's always fun to get to do some stuff outside. So I brought up the nighttime. So talking about flashlights, the nice glow in the dark sticks.
Yeah,
So in the daytime, after you have all your water bottles, you can play a little bit of glow in the dark bowling
I love
by
this.
taking the nightstick, sticking it inside those water bottles you had in the day, and you have some glow in the dark bowling.
I
So
love it.
maybe
That is so much fun.
that's a fun thing to do. And you can also do a little bit of hide and seek with the same thing. You can hide the bottles and have the kids run around and try to
Oh,
find
yeah.
them because they're like glowing in the dark.
That's a great
Um,
idea.
and I know that I see on Facebook there are a lot of the fire pits out over the weekend because the
Mhm.
nights are still nice and cool. So I brought one of my favorites books is Taste of the Outdoors.
I love it.
So the Alice little known facts that she decided one time to enter a cooking outdoor contest through Venture Outdoors. Yes, yes,
Did you?
I did. I did.
And?
And yeah, so I made a peach cobbler, but I found these tart cherries. So everything came in a can. So I got the peaches that were in light syrup, and we used cake mix, and we made it in an open fire
I
in
love
a
it.
large pot.
This sounds delicious.
And I tweaking stuff, putting some brown sugar in, not too sweet, giving a nice crust. And so my first entry, we won first place,
Nice.
and it
Good
was like a whole
job.
kid activity. So very fun, but there's a lots of things that kids can do mountain pies. For anybody who's ever made a mountain pie, our properties keep little cast iron mountain pies, and you put both sides with a piece of bread, filling in the middle, so savory or sweet. Put it together. You put it in the fire pit, and it cooks up a nice like apple pie. If you put apple filling or peanut butter, whatever it is that
You can even do like
you want to
pizza,
fill it.
right? Like sauce and cheese,
Yeah, you can make
all kinds of things.
pizzas. Yeah, pizzas, ham, cheese. You do all kinds of stuff.
If you guys are watching tonight, let us know some of the outdoor activities that you guys have done. Also, anything that you've learned, like the bowling, the glow in the dark bowling, that's like blown my mind. So, or I love it. I just love it.
You're gonna do it.
I am totally doing it. And then
It'll be great.
if you guys do go camping or hiking or anything like that, let us know some of the things that you guys make or take, or, just share some of the ideas that you guys have. So then that way we can continue this conversation in the comments and as well, between what we're chatting about here. So welcome everyone. Thanks for hopping on. But go ahead, tell me more, because you were so full.
Yeah. So
great idea.
We're talking about making your own sidewalk chalk. So if you didn't want to go and buy some sidewalk chalk,
or if you run out, because we're literally using it constantly.
Right. So this is very messy, and wear your outdoor play clothes for this. But I have a recipe. I think we can write the recipe. We can probably put the recipe in the comments.
Yeah, we totally can. I could do that right now while you're chatting.
So you can take 2 cups of baking soda, 2 cups of cornstarch. This is a good way to promote recycling too, because you can take maybe your empty ketchup bottles or your empty mustard bottles that are plastic, and you fill that up with the powder. Then you add enough water so the liquid is all mixed together. So you don't want to put too much water in, but just enough that it emulsifies and is all together, in a slurry. The slurry.
Ooh.
Yeah, make a slurry, and then take a couple drops of food color. So this can even be a learning experience too, because you can mix colors together, and kids could do that. And shake it all together into those different colors and squirt it out, and you can squirt it all over the sidewalks that you want to work on. And
I love it.
Super fun. And then we talked about making a little bit of a science experiment by grabbing some, vinegar, just some, normal household vinegar, and putting it on top of that, and the kids can see the reaction.
Yes. So it's cornstarch and baking soda, right?
Cornstarch and baking soda. Yep.
2 cups of each, and then water.
Yep. And then, if you want to be fancy, you could use some of those bottles that you can use for like decorating cakes and those kind of things. You're not going to make a ton of it.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can just recycle bottles that you have.
Perfect.
We had a lot of toilet paper tubes at our house. So we were making some bird feeders.
Yes.
With that, and we actually used yarn to hold them together. So we did that for spring, and I took the kids for walks, and we put bird feeders all around North Park, because everything is recyclable. They're going to take the yarn and the cardboard and put lard. So we did Crisco around there, and then we rolled it up. Just because a friend has a little allergy, so we wanted to. So it's super messy, super fun, but
that was one of the activities we did last week, was making the bird feeders. Same kind of thing. Just taking the things that we're using or we use every day in our house.
Yeah,
recycling them. And then we also talked about the bird's nest, because just like you said, that yarn, that cardboard, those birds are then going to take those things and they're going to use them for their nest. Then,
And you can talk about animal families and those kind of things. So animal families are nice, to talk about, especially now, because there's a lot of robins laying their eggs and having their babies, and there's kind of nests everywhere. And I know some people are like, oh, these nests, but it can be a fun learning thing for them too.
Yeah. And I love it too so much, because you and I are so on the same page with everything that we do is a total learning experience.
Oh yeah.
You go up to the city and you're talking about the colors reflecting on the buildings.
Right.
You're making sidewalk chalk and you're talking about primary and secondary colors and you're mixing them together. And,
Yeah.
all of these things are truly learning experiences. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and so for me, my youngest is a fifth grader, and I have a seventh grader. So keeping them engaged in the remote learning process that maybe a lot of people out there are doing that remote
Yeah.
learning. Um, the feedback is it's really hard, or I'm not a teacher. And I know, Christine, you are a teacher. I
Mm.
feel like as a physical therapist, I'm kind of a teacher of the body and all those kind of things. I said,
Mhm.
but I tell my kids, I have a college boy, and I say, that physics and those angles are things that I use every day as a physical therapist. I said, so being able to take what they're learning at school and making it relevant.
Yes.
So today, my fifth grader was learning about Monticello, they were so funny. So they were trying to remember the name, and the kids were like, "It's the pizza." But they were learning about architecture, and they went through this virtual tour. And I said, "You know what we're gonna do, and you can look this up in your city, is like the Pittsburgh Historical Society, and you can
Oh,
take a walk and see the gargoyles and the different watermarks in the city of Pittsburgh. But every city
wow.
has that, where you can go and you can take these walks. Instead of looking down, you're looking up, and you can
Mhm.
see the history of your own town. And it's something that, like I said, my fifth grader was learning about.
I
So
love
it's really good
I love
to
it. And
do
you do
that.
make it so, real for them. And like you said,
Right,
relevant.
right.
How is
Because
this related
maybe
to what we're talking about?
as parents, no, we didn't go to school to be teachers, but
Right.
we are inherently teachers, and you got to kind of pull out what your skill set is and
Mhm.
how that makes it relevant for you. And I don't know, maybe it's the nerd in me that I think that learning something fun and new every day is a good thing,
It totally is. It
and
really is.
problem solving, because my kids will see that it's like, oh, I don't know that answer
Mhm.
for that. I need to go look it up.
Right.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Kids need to know that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's okay that we can figure that out, especially nature. My husband knows way more about just the trees and just the different kinds of trees. And he just knows so much more about that than I do. But I have no problems. You take your little smartphone for that walk and go, let me take a look at it. And there are lots and lots of just resources online. So you
Yeah.
can learn about that too.
Right.
And hopefully, well, like in Ohio Pile or our new properties in Erie, I stop at the town halls and I stop at the visitor centers and I pick up, information about their places they have. So you can check those out,
Right. So
together.
you
So
know what's going
there's,
on in the area. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So there's just so many things to do outside that, sometimes if it's not too crazy, you can even tell your kids you can go outside and kind of dance and be crazy even in the rain,
Yeah.
or with an umbrella. And,
Oh, my
as
kids
long as
love
you
it.
dress
They
for the
put their rain
weather.
boots on, they
Oh,
get
yeah,
their umbrella, like, they love
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fun. So, what else? I did
What
have
about,
some.
like, a scavenger hunt? We were talking about scavenger hunt and, like,
Yeah.
taking
So,
pictures instead of disturbing nature.
right. So that's one of, well, my kids. I love taking pictures of them.
Mhm.
But I also, yeah, I do. They put up with it. But I also think that scavenger hunts in natures are really fun because you can take pictures and then you can bring it back again later. So it's a way to kind of reflect on things that you did. And a Walgreens by our house actually prints them right from your phone. So you
Mhm.
can really do that at home, part two. So you're taking it on your camera, but it's not lost in the camera forever. You're taking those pictures and you're kind of doing the part two of that activity, especially if your kids are little and spend, you know, we spent a lot of time in that part. Let's go back and visit it. And
Right.
outdoor games, of course, are fun. Who doesn't
Mhm.
like water balloon toss?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
at the
My
the
kids,
dollar
do you
store.
remember that big this was in South Park, but they had that big slide.
Yes.
and
Yes.
they gave you inner tubes. So
Yeah.
my kids found those in our garage, as everyone's splurging and cleaning out and
Yeah.
everything, So they found them and they have been playing with them in the yard for weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pull inner tube and they're loving it. And another, like, they started doing like a human ring toss, or
Yeah.
even if you get the pool noodles and you put them in the ground, they could play, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like horseshoes with that. Like, they're just
Or
loving it.
tic-tac-toe. You can take,
Yes.
at the dollar store, get 9 hula hoops, set them out in that square, toss anything in there, you know what I mean? And there you
Yeah.
go. You have multiple uses for all those fun games. And even games that like favorite things from the dollar store, these balls. 'Cause I use them to exercise a lot with. But these are also fun because you can throw them through the hula hoops
Yes.
as a different kind of game. So you can be super creative. Tic tac toe, set them up, throw the ball, have it land, two different balls, and you have a tic tac toe game right in your yard.
Right. Or if they land in a certain spot or in a certain hula hoop, they have to jump that many times. Or,
Exactly,
you can
exactly.
even incorporate, I've done this with them, taking that sidewalk chalk out and you can spell their name or you can spell the words that they're
Yeah,
working on, or, it could be anything,
yeah. Oh yeah.
math. I mean, totally, you could totally do this with math.
Oh yeah. You
You
could definitely. And then you can have of course, the fun things are like the kids like water guns are big here at my house. I have boys, so I had 4 girls and I have 3 boys, so water guns are big. But those are also good um, when you're not wanting them to hit each other with them because it can get a little
Mhm.
heated. You can make paper targets for them to kind of go after too.
Perfect.
So a lot of getting out of the house and for my boys, video games are a big thing. So, and bike rides in the city, especially if you have a bigger family, you can take the little kids' bikes with you.
Hmm.
And Highmark has the bikes that you can rent
Yes.
that are all over the place. And they're still out. So, at least in Pittsburgh, and I know in other cities, the bikes are still out.
Oh,
So,
good.
yeah. So, you can rent the bikes and, do that bike ride through to the point and come back
Hmm.
again and find those places, that are still open.
Yeah. Now, if you
So,
are so for Pittsburgh, I'm gonna share some hiking spots, and you can share some
yeah,
things that you know too.
for sure.
If you're not in Pittsburgh, please feel free to share hiking or things that you guys can do outside, because this has expanded worldwide, and we really do want to help people in each of the areas. So right now, our big concentration is Pittsburgh, but we are definitely spreading to all areas. So for Pittsburgh, some of the areas that are open, that are good hiking spots. Um, Settlers
Yeah.
Ridge here in Robinson has a nice hiking trail. It's pretty easy, and there's a waterfall down there. There's one in Raccoon State Park. There's a
Oh,
waterfall.
Raccoon. Yes.
Yes, that's a really good one.
That's a really nice
There's
one.
camping and stuff there,
Yeah.
right? There's all
Yep.
kind
Yep.
of
There's
stuff there.
camping there. Yeah.
So there's a
Um,
waterfall there. There's also one in Beaver Falls. Have you ever been to that one, Alice?
no,
There's one.
I went to there's one in the North Hills off of Route 8 that is fall run.
Oh, okay. I haven't been to that
That
one.
yeah, that is it's about a 1 mile hike in, and it's actually getting really popular. I think now that a lot of other things are closed,
Yes.
and it's getting more popular. Of course, I know the areas in Ohio Pile have just amazing
So many.
areas of hike. So just so many, and the visitor bureau was closed, but there's information online to find the
Okay.
trails, and they are fairly well marked trails with the levels of difficulty, so you can actually print those off at home and take them.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's helpful. And then I am the opposite of you, so I'm in the North Hills, and we have North Park. So
Mhm.
North Park is full of the playgrounds are closed, but the areas of hiking and bike trails are open.
Yes,
So
and
those
there's so many up
areas,
there for North
there's
Park.
so many up there. Um, but it's also nice. I really like when we went because we're going again for the to go see the sunset is around the North Shore, and that area is
Oh,
super nice. It's super nice. There's a big walking path there. So it's kind of on the opposite side of the of Point State Park.
yeah.
But beautiful, beautiful walking trails all through that. And what's really nice is their sculptures, and the sculptures reflect different artists and different things about the city. So those are really cool.
Oh,
So if you're in Pittsburgh, or even if you want to come and visit Pittsburgh and take that walk down through the North Shore, and there's street parking. I think Saturdays you have to pay. Sundays is free street parking by the stadiums, and just take that walk
oh, that's
along
nice.
there. It's really nice. And if you go up a little bit, you'll see a lot of, there's a war memorial. So those are
Mhm.
some really nice things that you see. And you know what else is a fun thing that I've done is the little historical landmarks.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
historical landmarks, they're super fun to go and take your kids, and you can even take pictures of all the ones that they have them kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
And I've been a little bit of a junkie of even working in Erie and seeing some of the historical places in our in the this side of Pennsylvania. Just some
Mhm.
really interesting things. So we have a historical marker in Wexford because Jonas Salk was actually born out here in Wexford.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And I
Wow.
drive the kids past Arsenal Middle School because that's where they tested the polio vaccine. And he is a University of Pittsburgh graduate
Wow.
and developed the vaccine through there. I'm a Pitt grad, so there's a little bit of that. So there's a lot of interesting little tidbits.
Yes.
Pitt campus, we're lucky to have as many university campuses
Mhm.
as we do here and
Yeah.
outside. There's a people don't know there is a carousel on the Pitt
Love the
campus.
carousel.
Like it is fun,
Yeah.
you
The
know.
kids love that. That's like a special thing when we go down there. We walk around
Right,
and go to
right.
it's just so much fun, and it's so cool as you are walking and you just kind of see those landmarks and you're like, "Wait
Yeah,
a second. Like I didn't know
yeah,
that this was like this building many years ago, you
yeah,
know?" So
yeah.
it
I
is. I
showed the
mean,
kids in town the flood line, and they still have the
mm,
flood line over by the courthouse. And I'm like, this was like all underwater.
wow.
And it's funny because sometimes my kids, they get to the age of like, oh, this is it. But then they get very engaged in the process. You bring out a couple little fun facts and you
Yes.
get super involved, and you're, outside and you're enjoying the outside, which, so last weekend, the weekend that just passed, I've been on the board for the Pittsburgh Children's Theater for 20 years. So
Wow.
we bring, we over 20 years, we came to Pittsburgh, and all around the United States, there are children's theater, so professional children's theater. So these are people that have Screen Equity Guild who are performing. They go to school for theater. We work with different countries and bring in through their cultural programming here into the United States. So usually we have the international festival where we highlight groups from all over um, the world. Really, we have
Mhm.
people coming in from the different areas in Africa and
Wow.
Australia and South America and Mexico. So we have different people that come in. Canada come in, and because of what's happened, we had to throw it all virtual and online this
Mm.
year. But to give everybody kind of that heads up, because I think they're gonna keep some of the things up for a little bit.
Good.
They did a lot of things because we had a frog stop that was a virtual kind of trail that people could find, and they put little frogs in, you know, signs in downtown
Oh,
over the
fun.
weekend, but also being able to do some things outside. And they had some origami. So origami is a fun thing to do outside. You can make a little origami, get the paper, make some origami boats, and you can float those outside if
Oh,
you want to. Yeah, for sure.
that's a good one.
Make birds happy by, maybe you're not planting seeds, but the wildflower seeds are great to take on hikes with you too. So that's kind of a fun thing to do, is taking those seeds along with you and helping that population of wildflowers grow
Right.
too. So that's always good. But yeah, you have to keep that on your radar for next year. Our
For sure.
festival, hopefully we're out.
Yeah.
But we were as creative as possible this year with having um, indoor, outdoor kind of activities, and then featuring the artists that we normally would have in indoor theater. So that was always kind of the cool experience to have different food trucks. Food truck days are also
Oh,
very
yeah.
fun, especially
I've
if you
seen
want
a lot
your
of people even
kids.
have them in like their neighborhood.
We do.
Do you?
Yeah, we have food trucks in our neighborhood.
I love that.
We have a neighborhood coordinator, so she invites one food truck, um, and we do have food trucks in our neighborhood.
That's
But
cool.
what's nice is we try to pick maybe a culturally different food truck to come. They
Mhm.
do want some pre-orders to guarantee that there's going to be food. But if you can go to every town has kind of their Facebook food truck following. And
Oh.
so even on our, for Pittsburgh, there's a Pittsburgh food truck following. So you can
Oh, I
follow
love it.
where your food truck's going to be. And so if you're not going to pack your lunch, you could get your stuff and make a picnic with
Yeah.
that. Stop,
Yeah.
get the stuff. Station Square is also a super fun place in Pittsburgh. Lots of history with Bessemer
Mhm.
Court.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, last time I was up in Mount Washington, the inclines are closed.
I
But
thought so. I mentioned that to Dan. I said it's got to be too close, even though
yeah,
people
so I
use
did
those
get some.
as transportation.
Yeah, so
Though.
I did see. We now that we're in the yellow, maybe they'll have a limited number of people, but
Yeah.
they're really cool. We were in Canada last year, and in Buffalo, New York, and then we just went over to Niagara Falls, and it was interesting because they have like an incline that goes sideways down into like where the Maid of the Mist is.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and I said, and it was new for them. They had this attraction there, and I said, "We've had these inclines in Pittsburgh." For quite some time, So yeah, that is always fun to find things to do outside and
Yeah.
take a little step. Sometimes inside your neighborhood where you can find some really cool things,
Mhm.
things that don't cost a lot of money.
Well, the
If you
one thing
want,
you mentioned was the geo.
oh, geocaching. Yeah,
Yeah.
geocaching. So you have to go to geocaching.com. Don't just make sure it's geocaching.com,
We'll add
and
that in
then
the
it
comments.
will, yeah, because if not, you'll go to other links. So if you
Okay.
go to geocaching.com, you can put in, you don't need any special anything. Because people are like, you need something, you don't. It's like a
Yeah.
treasure hunt, because people will leave things and you get to find them. So it's essentially leave and find and leave and find.
I love
And
it.
they're put, yeah. Yeah. So if you go to that spot, you put in your zip code, so it could be anywhere, and you can leave and find things there. And they're like in little plastic containers. And that's always exciting because you can get a little bit of history maybe of someone who was there or not there, even like from a painted rock to a coin to a toy
Oh,
to
yes.
whatever. So it's one of those things that you can kind of make your imagination of who was the person who dropped this off, or I wonder if it was a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old. Did they go
Right.
on this hike? And on that geocaching.com. So if you pick a spot that you want to check out, you can on there will tell you the terrain. So if it's a challenging terrain or an easy terrain. So
Oh,
it's a fun
cool.
spot to go look. And I think the other thing we talked about was the astronomy.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yes.
stargazing was good. And even my 20-year-old likes this, and he has the Skyview Light,
Okay.
LITE, Skyview Light as an
Okay.
app, and the NASA app is a really good app. So two really good apps that you
I'm
can,
gonna add that in.
put them down, um, that you have, and you can just point them up to the sky. They'll tell you what you're looking for in the sky. So you just um, you put the locator of your phone on, and then you go and put it to the sky, and our sky has been super interesting, right? Like
Yeah.
just really, really interesting. And if you drive a little bit outside and you really notice this, like in the mountain area where you have less city lights,
Yeah.
how clear
Oh, I know.
the sky is. It's
Yeah.
just been so interesting at night.
Yeah. Because I grew up in the
Yeah,
country, so
yeah. So
there's no lights.
there's no lights.
And I remember like just even coming closer to the city, and I was like, there's like no stars. And then I'd go to my parents, and I'm like, oh, there they are.
Oh, they're there. Yeah, it's all kind of the lights here. So yeah, so some really good stuff that way.
So
I was
many
going
great.
to say, with the chalk stuff, you can also look up an artist and
Mm.
kind of do that art with chalk. And
Oh
so
my
you
gosh,
can
you are
kind
so
of
full of
like
ideas.
be an impressionist. Well, so I do love all this stuff for real. Like I'm so crazy. Like I have these like little books here, and you can
I
open them up and
love
you
it.
go, oh, let me see, this artist, and go, hey, I think we could do this
Yeah.
artist and learn, about that artist. So,
That'd be perfect. And
um,
that's kind of the stuff that's lost. Those are the
yeah,
things that are not taught in schools. Those are the things that, there's no time for that per se,
right, right.
And when it is being taught in school, it may not be interesting to the kids. So then they're just kind
Um,
of fluffing it off and like, oh, this is boring. I'm moving on. You know,
right,
but if you are making it relevant, and I mean, we have nothing but time right now,
right, right, right.
and if we are making it relevant for them and exciting for them, like
Yeah,
they're gonna absorb some of that knowledge and that information
they
while they're
will.
having fun.
Yeah, it is really true because you can take those things, you can just take the everyday things and say, hey, you know what, this is kind of relevant because when our museums open up, wouldn't it be so fun to go and see that artist at
Yes,
our museum or
yes,
any museum that you go to, right? Because there's lots of representation in
yes.
there. And there's a lot of inside outside too. You know what I mean? Bringing that whole inside outside
Right,
thing going.
right.
Because, you know, as parents, and I think like the biggest challenge to me when we started remote learning was I didn't really understand the platform that they were using at school. Our
Mhm.
school used Google Classroom. And I was like, I don't even know the whole entire curriculum. I get the snippet that I at in September when I at open house going, oh man, I
Right.
should have paid way better attention to what that curriculum was. Like, I have to laugh at myself, and I think maybe being a mom of seven and tripping going upstairs and trying crazy things makes it easy to kind of laugh at
Yes.
yourself and go, you know what?
You have
I'm just gonna
to. I
go
mean,
with
we have
this.
to give
I'm
ourselves
just
grace.
gonna go with that. Yeah,
We have
yeah.
to.
We're just gonna go with it, and you
Yep.
know, I might not be, or it might not be your thing to be outside, but it's going to be your thing for right now to just be outside, and it's
Just
going to
get
be
out of the
okay.
four walls. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's just even the kids being outside,
Yes.
then just they don't even care what they're doing. They're taking their toys outside. They don't
Oh
care,
yeah.
you
Oh
know?
yeah. Yeah. The creativity of being outside,
They're
and even
making up
like some
games. I
things.
mean,
Yeah. I and even things that people are doing outside, giving your kid your phone to take pictures.
they love it.
They love it.
Love it.
It's very
I
much
can't tell
easier
you
to
how many
delete
hiking
them.
pictures I have on my phone
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
same thing.
yeah. But it's interesting, I also think it's kind of interesting and the kids' perspective of how they see the world, right?
Mhm.
It's just very interesting. But
Yes.
I think being able to keep that kid inside you of that wonder of the world being so large, and you are very excited to be a part of that,
Yeah.
especially outside when it's super nice outside. It's like
Mhm.
I feel like the sun is shining and it's like I want to be outside.
Me too. Me too. I can always have work to do. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care what we have to do. Like, we're going outside. I took
Yeah.
my computer
Yeah.
out with me today and I sat outside and I worked outside because
Yeah.
when that sun's shining, like that is my invitation to like get outside.
This is my invitation to go outside. Mind you, I'm like, oh, I want to be outside. I want the kids to, they were out on their bikes today. I had to work a couple hours. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, guys, you're going to do this. And, let's get the chores done in the morning, get your school done. I'm going to go do this. And they were out riding their bikes. It really just makes me so happy that, doing those kind of activities outside,
Yes.
and just,
And they have the time. They're not
yeah,
being rushed from place to place. It really has given them that time to just slow down. And all of us just kind of take in nature, take in the things that are around us, and just
yeah,
go back to the simple things. I mean,
yeah.
Ella loves making a hopscotch board
Oh,
outside
yeah.
and playing hopscotch,
Oh, yeah.
and
Who
it's just
doesn't like
the simple
hopscotch?
things. Yeah.
I said it's good for us too, right? We got to work on
Mhm.
our balance as we get older. I'm just gonna
Right.
say. So I'm just gonna start now. I'm gonna start now that balance is gonna be good.
Exactly.
Oh no, exactly. Being outside is one of those things that is like, nothing can really replace that, right? Nothing
Right.
replaces kind of getting into nature. And I was gonna say, reading stories outside, and you can
Mhm.
even there's yoga stories, yoga kids. It's
Yeah.
a nice Google. You can Google yoga kids, and
Mm.
I've taught the yoga classes outside for kids, but you can also practice like, here's a tree, let's do tree
Yeah.
pose, and those kind of things,
Yeah. So
which
you guys, I
are
told you, jack of all trades here. I mean, the cultural, the cultural center, the properties, and the camping, and the
right,
hiking, and the
right.
yoga, and
Yoga
she's just the
teacher.
jack of everything
I'm
here,
on
and
the
I just
board
love
for
it.
our library. Can I give our North End Public Library a little shout out? I love our
Yeah.
library. People think about the library as indoors, and our library, we spent 3 years fundraising to bring it
Wow.
outdoors. So we have an
Wow.
outdoor garden now.
I love it.
So we had our grand opening last fall.
I love it.
Um,
Like that,
so
those are some of the memories that I have. I mean, my second grade teacher, I remember her taking us out into like the little area outside and like reading the swan trumpet swan. And
yeah,
that was like the best thing
yeah,
ever.
yeah, yeah. No, you know, we have this pause, and it can be really hard. But I think that, you know, let's make the most of it all together because it is
Mhm.
hard.
Yes.
It can be a very hard thing.
Yeah.
So I think you make the best of it all together. Oh, I see Shelly's on
I
too. The
know. Hi,
paper
Sally.
airplanes. I love it.
I know
Paper
that's a good
airplanes
one
are
too.
so good.
Paper
Mhm.
airplanes and having a competition, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
kids really get into that too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But taking this moment to have this pause, I like how the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust calls it. It's only an intermission.
Oh, I love that.
It's an
Yeah.
intermission, and let's do those kind of things because sometimes because me personally have lots of kids, I limit those lots of extra activities, and we focus on one or two sports, and
Mhm.
really that's it. Just it gets hard driving a bunch of kids everywhere, right?
Right.
It's easy to fill their schedule, and sometimes it's like, hey, you know what? We can think of a lot of activities, and sometimes we can just be. We can
Mhm.
just
Yep.
lay down. Matter of fact, I was at one of my other favorite stores besides the dollar stores is Aldi's. Wait, my Aldi's find. I'm happy about my Aldi's find. Can I just talk about my Aldi's find?
Ah, I love that.
So this is super nice, by the way.
Love it.
And it's a tablecloth. So I got it so we could just take it outside, lay down because it's washable. It's not like gonna hold anything in. It's indoor outdoor tablecloth. Lay down. Hey, let's just look at this. Look at those clouds.
Yeah. And they love it.
And
They love
yeah,
that.
I feel like because we talk about all kinds of activities and things we can do, and sometimes we can just
Mm-hmm.
be,
Yep.
and we can breathe.
And I was just
And we
going to
can
say,
be,
and that breathing and just calming our bodies and
yeah, I think there's a part of that whole being grounded
yes,
that is special,
yes.
because sometimes we're in this go, 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 go cycle. And
Mm-hmm.
I know, like for me, I need that. I need to
Oh, me
feel
too.
that. And sometimes even just when I'm driving, working on properties and on the way, it's my time to kind of breathe. I turn the radio off. I'm not listening to anything, and I'm just
Yeah.
kind of focusing. And I think kids learning that is such a good activity. So yeah. Shall I say, Shelly?
Hi.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Oh,
there's the Virtual Empowering Women Philanthropy Awards and Performances for the Global Sisterhoods. It's coming up on May 22nd at
I
6:30.
signed
So
up.
I
I signed
know.
up.
It's
I signed up. It's gonna
yeah.
be great. So maybe I'll get out of because Shelly has her book, the yoga pants and ball gowns. So I'll
Yeah.
get out of. But I have to say, as a physical therapist, I do wear yoga pants sometimes to work.
Hey, I've
It
been
is
wearing
my
yoga
work
pants all the
attire.
time. Right? Right? That's all that matters.
I sometimes get nicer ones.
Yes. I know. I think I'm in need. I'm in need for new, nicer ones because it's been like my new attire.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it was like all of a sudden we went from like long pants to shorts.
Yes.
It was like, oh, it's shorts. So
It's short season. I know. I know. I wore something. I wore pants and I was like, oh, I'm a little bit hot today.
yeah. It's definitely short season. And I know
Yeah.
just pulling out the things from my kids going, the shorts might you might need another pair of shorts.
Right.
we went from long pants to short pants, I think overnight.
Yes.
And the winter coats and putting those things away. Although I
Isn't
was
it
going
funny how that
through
happens here in Pittsburgh? It's very
all four
strange.
seasons in 1 week.
I know. One day sometimes.
One day. I know. It was like a day. I was because the other fun thing to do is, it's very interesting to me and I hope that these become more available because I think it's one of those things that the kids hear about meat shortages and these kind of things and you drive not even that far out and you can see farms and
Mm-hmm.
we've taken the pause to go look at these farms that they contribute milk to our community and what products come from milk
Yes.
is the cheese and all these things
Mm-hmm.
and even the local fruit places
Yes.
that are around our
Yeah.
Sorgles market around here that has the apple orchards that sometimes you take for granted that that's in your backyard but it's strawberry season so
Yeah.
time to pick strawberries so I hope we can as we're in the yellow in Pennsylvania that our section that those places it's a nice pause it's a nice stop and
Mm-hmm.
or you could even grow a fruit tree we have
Yes.
I was a little worried we have this very beautiful peach tree and we had that frost that
Yeah.
crazy
I
snow.
know. I think it messed up one of our trees actually. Sam was like, "Why are the leaves falling off?" I was like, "Who knows?"
Oh no. Well, I saw some buds on her, so I'm hoping that she made it through. That our peaches are gonna come
That's
out in August.
exciting.
Yeah. It's
Exciting.
those
Yeah.
kind of things that
So Tim,
really bring those. Life is kind of full circle, and you can
yes.
really if anything, we're teaching our kids how we're living. How we're connecting indoors to outdoors, and
Yep.
we can still be connected even if we're staying with our families.
Yes. And even
You know,
taking that time, talking about planting a fruit tree, planting a garden,
yeah.
and I mean,
Oh
that's something
yeah.
that we've been talking about this past week, just taking those seeds and the process of
Hmm.
growing anything,
Yeah.
and then once they are able to reap what they sow, I mean, that's such an amazing thing for them to take those tomatoes that they planted and
Right.
say, I planted these and they grew and now they're my salad,
Yeah.
So, I
And
mean, it's a great
and it's
opportunity for
following
so
that
many
success.
reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Mhm.
success of especially some of the easier fruits like tomatoes that are easy to
Mhm.
grow. Basil,
Yeah.
super easy to
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little bruschetta, perfect.
right. It's perfect for me. So yeah, it's just it's I was calling it like going sideways, forward together. We're gonna do
Mhm.
this, and
Kinda
we're gonna
taking a different turn on things for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
But still moving in a forward direction,
yeah. I mean,
still
we
staying
um,
positive and,
right,
looking at it, I think, in a different perspective even.
yeah,
Not looking at it as it's so negative now, looking at it as what can we benefit from this and how can we benefit, you know?
right, right. Exactly,
So,
exactly. Because it's hard on different people for different reasons.
yes.
I know for myself, I'm very social. As
Mhm.
anyone's on here that's friends with me on Facebook, I crave that people.
Yes.
I do crave it. And I always think, well, I feel like I'm a little bit of inside my heart, a probably introvert with an exterior of an extrovert. So
Mhm.
interior to my heart, I'm very close and things are deep inside here, but extrovert, I like my friends, I like my community. I
Yes.
get the good vibes from community, which it's not really an outdoor activity, but finding ways that you can volunteer with kids,
Mhm. It's
and from
huge. Mhm.
picking up trash that people leave behind instead of
That's
complaining
definitely
about it. Go,
something.
you know what? With gloves on, let's pick
Yes.
up the garbage.
Yes. Stay healthy, everyone, for sure. I
Stay
mean,
healthy, yeah,
these are
and
great activities, but we still want to, emphasize that social distancing, hand washing, all of those
right.
things to continue to keep us healthy and our kids healthy during this time because you just don't
And
know.
explaining that to our kids too of why that's important to be
Yes.
healthy. Um, because I said, well, because I work in healthcare, I'm like, hand washing has always been very cool to me. I'm a cool hand washer just because I don't want to make anybody else sick. And when I work in a hospital and when I see patients in their homes and when I'm in an outpatient clinic, how hand washing is big.
Mhm.
So a little thing that you can do with your kids is put some oil, rub it on their hands with a little bit of dirt, and then have your kids wash their hands to see how much they really get off of their hands. It's a
Wow, I
really
love
great
that.
idea.
I love that.
Really good
That is a good idea.
idea.
So, I don't know if you've seen that one where it's like a bowl of water and like
Mhm.
soap, and then they put the, pepper or whatever, and they touch it, or glitter. So those
Yeah.
have been really cool too. But that is a good one to see because Alex is, he's 3. So
Yeah.
he goes and he washes his hands, but are you really washing them long enough? And like
Right.
our trick for hand washing, and I really think this has helped them learn the ABCs too, but they sing the ABCs as
Yeah.
they wash their hands.
Yeah.
So, and we just really made it fun for them. Like, okay,
Yeah.
now we're going to get the soap and we're going to make them really soapy and let me see
That's
those
exactly
bubbles.
it. Make that super, super soapy. And, because I think that's kids can be an active part of
Mm-hmm.
what's going on by understanding, takes the scariness away and gives a little bit of that control, right?
Yes.
So it's like, okay, we're gonna wash our hands, we're gonna make sure that I'm saying I feel healthy, I feel good.
Yes.
That helps
Yes.
them communicate that. Like I feel healthy, I feel good. We have a thermometer just because I work in healthcare, I want to make sure. But it's funny, I had it out. I was changing my bags today, and everybody was walking in my house from playing outside. I'll go, okay, temperature, just just so they kind of also understand and do it in a non-scary way,
Yes.
that we have, our bodies work
Mm-hmm.
to keep us healthy by keeping a good temperature for all of our organs in our body and those kind of things. We need to eat healthy. And so we're really all connected, right?
Yes.
So if we don't feel well, we need to be able to say, hey, I don't feel well, and not make it a very scary thing,
Right. Right.
because kids are out more. And when they're not outside, but maybe see people coming in and out of a store with a mask on, doesn't want to be a scary thing, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And
and
that's
and I'm in North Park, and half the people are wearing masks and half the people aren't, and it makes a lot of questions
mm-hmm.
sometimes, and the answer is, well, they're close to each other and they're wearing a mask because they want to keep themselves safe. And just try to
Right.
be as simple but
Yeah.
as reassuring as possible,
Absolutely. And that's what I've done the whole time. I've told them, well, we can't go out because there's germs out there. We talk more in detail about it, but they understand that part of it then. The
Yeah.
germs can make us sick, but we're healthy and we're going to keep other people healthy. And,
Yep.
really explaining it to them, like you said, in a simpler term, but explaining it to them instead of just saying, no, you can't go outside, you're stuck inside, and like that's how it's going to be. I
Right.
really feel that has been so helpful for my children, is really giving them that simple explanation, because
Yeah.
now they know.
And we can go outside, and I think through the whole process, the same message has been go outside. They
Hmm.
want people to go outside. They want people to get fresh air,
Yes.
you know. So we can do it, and we're going outside because we want to be healthy. We want our bodies to be healthy. We want our minds to be healthy.
Yep.
They're all made to work all together. So yeah,
Yep.
for sure. I think that
And
that's such a important message for kids to get.
absolutely. And open
And
the
just
windows too. I mean, open the
uh,
windows and get that fresh air as often as you can, because I
yes,
think that's huge too.
same. And not all germs. And I tell my kids this so they're not scared. I'm like, not all germs are bad germs. We talk about building immunities in our
Mhm.
bodies and those kind of things, and we talk about people who don't have good immune systems and how we can protect those people too. So we're all working together, and you can do
Yes.
that at all different kind of ages for kids,
Hmm.
and it's not as scary, I
Right.
think,
Right.
the more kids know, the more they feel comfortable
Yep.
even understanding it. I always think kids are super smart, they're super
Hmm.
smart. Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
I feel like my 11-year-old tells me things. I'm like, wow, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can think in a different dimension than what you're thinking
Yes.
about something,
Absolutely.
or solving a problem. They don't need us to solve all their problems for them,
Right.
for sure.
And sometimes
So
whenever we do, we talk to them about these things, and then they kind of regurgitate that information, and they're observing things. They'll recite it back to us, and we're like, okay, like
yeah, they got that.
yeah.
I know, I know. It's kind of like, or I feel like I hear them say in my voice, like they're saying something and it sounds like I've said something. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so it's good. It's good. So many wonderful, wonderful activities. So many great
yeah.
advice. I mean, this just has turned into such a
I
wonderful.
know we talked about a lot. I love
Yeah.
it. Motherhood challenging and rewarding. 'Cause
Yes. Yes. Because we
it
know
is
that
true.
it is. We have those challenging moments. This is a challenging moment, but look at
That
that
is,
reward of it.
yeah,
Look at the benefits that we're getting to spend the time with our families. That we're getting to cook home cooked meals, or
yeah.
you know just all of these things. So, you know,
And
I
we've
just love it.
done a little bit of everything because, again, you have to do what makes. I think that for moms, I think it's very tempting when you're looking at the all the Facebook stories sometimes of, oh my gosh, look at what they're doing. And it's like
Yes.
sometimes it's good to be like, you know what, I need to do, and I know it's okay with where I'm at and what I'm doing.
Yep.
I'm not that crafty mom. I
Yep.
try. I always get I got picked for every party to be like the craft mom. I can't even understand why. I'm like, why can't I be the game mom? Oh, so and so wanted to be the game mom, and you said you didn't care. So, I'm the one walking into Michael's and Joanne's going, uh, but then I'd leave there. I got a plan. I can come up with a craft that's they're gonna like for parties. And I feel like if you take that attitude, you're helping your kids.
Yes.
With
It's
that
so
attitude
important, not to compare on social media or
on
anything that we're seeing, because we all have different situations, and
we all
it could be
do,
easy
right?
to do,
Yeah.
you
So
know.
I'm like, the ideas we had, are things that, work for me, of things that I enjoy. But, it's good. It's also nice sometimes when you can be with another mom, so you're getting another kind of idea and knowing
Yeah.
that, hey, this
Hmm.
might work or it might not work, because that might not be your kid's vibe either. So,
Right.
'cause,
You're my
yeah,
camping mom, that's for sure. I'm not a camping mom, so.
yeah, no, I know there's like a lot of people like that, and I said, I'm not like a camping mom in the tent laying in the ground in that kind. I'm more a cabin. So we could maybe write a book about the different kinds of moms, and we're all good.
Oh, I
But we're,
love it.
but we're all different kind of moms.
I think you're onto something.
We're all different. It's okay,
It's so true. It's so
being
true.
a
We are all
little bit.
doing the best that we can and what we know is best for our kids. And that's all that matters. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter what anyone else says or, comparing to. It's our kids are the most important thing.
right.
And sometimes, we can get wrapped up in, oh, I have to do this and I have to do this. And even still during this time, I felt like that. Like,
Yeah,
why didn't I do X, Y, and Z? And it's
yeah,
like, you know what? They're happy. They're having
yeah.
fun. They don't care that they missed out on story time that was on the computer. Like, they're having a good
I
time.
know. I think about that sometimes too, because oh man, I kind of wanted to see this guy. I kind of wanted to see this
Right.
cartoonist, but I missed it. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's a little bit of that. You gotta kind of let go, and um the motherhood things. I feel like in a way my world is very crazy because I have that 20-year gap
Mhm.
of having, not 20 years gap of kids, but 20 years from my oldest to the youngest, from
Wow.
31 to 11,
Wow.
um, that I can still say, you know what, I, the 31-year-old and the 29-year-old, they're hanging out, they
Hmm.
want to be with me now, and I
Right.
can see them parent, and it's super fun to see your kids parent and go, you know, I might not have been perfect, but we always had the love. And I
Yes.
think that's the most important thing, because
Yeah.
believe me, they all tell me now how I forgot to pick them up or was late picking them up from a soccer practice.
Yeah.
Truth bombs
Hey,
coming
we all
out.
have that story. My mom, I have a story, so I think we all have that
We're
story.
not perfect. We
No,
try. We
no.
try. And I think that's um the song, Let It Go. Maybe that's why it's so impactful for me when that movie came
Yes.
out. I was like, I think they wrote that about me.
Yes,
Just let it
it was
go.
for me. It was
It
for
was
us.
for me.
Yes. Well, thank
We
you
can
so
do
much.
it.
Do you have any more final thoughts, Alice? This has
No,
been amazing.
wow, I can't believe an hour went by.
I know. So thank you all for hopping on, for
Yes.
checking it out, for sticking with us because there's
Yeah.
so much information here and Alice is just full of so much fabulous information. So this is why we went well over an hour. So blessed to have you, Alice. But anything
Oh my
else?
gosh, thank you. Yeah, no, we're very good. Thank you. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Thank you so much, Alice. And if you guys are looking for anything else, just pop it in the comments. Anything that we talked about, if you need any further information, and Alice and I definitely will get back to you
Oh yeah,
because we definitely gave a lot of information tonight. So
there's a lot.
lots
We
of
were
great
everywhere.
things. So
Yeah, very good.
yes.
Great
Well, thank
time.
you so much, Alice. I really appreciate it. I'm sending all of you lots of love, hugs, happiness, and health, guys. I hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.